All right, Billy Cunningham, the Great American. You know, I monitor all events, all media simultaneously, whether it's radio or television or print. And I think it was a company in South Korea, and I'm sure there's many other ideas. There's a good one here in the States, that have a system where instead of having contact with an employee or a customer, whether you're a municipal government, a state government, a Walmart, a small business owner, a large business owner, that you have technology available now that can scan everyone that enters into your lobby, your hallway, or your room, like at Xavier UC, Northern Kentucky. And this technology allows you to determine quickly whether that person has a fever or not, and then also then that person can be taken to the side and have more examinations in COVID-19 territory. And I thought, what a brilliant idea. Instead of going through hand to hand or talking to people and stopping people, this is done kind of remotely. And a person in charge of this is Jason Bowman with TRIVACO and TRIVACO. And Jason, welcome, I think, for the first time to the Bill Cunningham Show. And Jason, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Yourself?
Good. Now, tell me about TRIVACO and how it works. Bill, I saw this on one of the cable news in which you simply monitor temperatures. Explain to the American people, what is TRIVACO and how does it work?
Well, TRIVACO, it's a company that's about 30 years old, and we've been around for a while. We've mostly been in business with process control, automation, things like that. And we've been measuring temperature for many of those years. And since this whole coronavirus thing's come along, we've got a system that will monitor and vet people non-intrusively, quickly, easily, and reliably.
So let's say you're at UC and you want to open up in the fall, and you don't want to have 48,000 students every day, someone taking their temperature. Or let's say you're at a Walmart or you're at Great American Ballpark and you want people to come in. Explain how it works.
Well, so it's very similar to when you go to the airport and you've got a TSA member that says, come on. You walk through, the person on deck, if you will, has to wait. It's a very similar process. We try to put a marking on the ground where a person would stand for maybe a hard 1 count, maybe 2 count, and then they're good to go.
All right, so it's like TSA, but no one actually takes the device, puts it up to your forehead and waits. It's much quicker than that.
That is correct, Willie. There's no human contact.
Talk to me about the applications. For those listening around the tri-state, what are some of the possible applications of TRIVACO? What are the applications specifically?
The most common application would be entryway into your business, your place of business, whether that's industrial, manufacturing, business, anything like that. It's designed to be used indoor, and it is designed to be automated, if you will.
And so what happens if someone hits? What temperature can you set it at?
So the settings are all variable, and that's one thing that this thing does is it does monitor skin temperature, so it is not an internal body temperature measurement. So those things are all variable, and we have guidelines for those. And it all depends on the scenario, and at TRIVACO, that's what we do. We work with our customers, and we make sure things work.
So at the Great American Ballpark in September, they're going to start welcoming fans. I hope to God that happens. You can have these systems set up at the entryways, and a person might take 1 to 2 seconds. Now, let's say they hit, it's 100, say you set it at 101 degrees and a person's 102. What happens?
Well, at that point, they would have to follow some kind of guideline internally. This is just one angle of monitoring people. This is not an end-all be-all by no means, but it is a great metric as a starting point. At that point, I would expect that people, and this is what I've been told by other businesses, that they would go to a secondary area where other measures would be taken.
And so it's up to each employer or business owner or facility to determine what happens next. That's kind of outside of your bailiwick.
That is correct, Willie.
And this has been around a long time. So I thought this was something relatively new, but you've been at it the company's been at it for like 30 years?
Yeah, the irony about this is we've been measuring non-contact temperature for forever, really. It's not a new technology. It's just a new avenue for this. And the way that we do this, it's not a temperature gun. It's much more accurate. It's like we've got several temperature guns pointing at the subject, and they don't even know they're being vetted. We've also got a device that is included with this, which gives you accuracy into the tenths of degree Fahrenheit.
And so this isn't a case where you can take a temperature on a forehead that is different than the temperature on the foot, the leg, the chest, the arm. This has several points at which you're gauging the temperature.
Yes. So what it actually is doing is that each individual pixel in the imager is its own individual temperature. So what it does is it takes a cluster of pixels and compares that to a known value and determines whether or not the subject is at an elevated temperature or not.
And so if you're at a Reds game and you have short sleeve shirt on, maybe shorts, it'll take several parts of your body. But on the other hand, if you're in an environment and it's just your face, then that's the only temperature you get?
That is correct.
And how much is this used, not just in the tri-state, but is it being used currently like in Japan, South Korea, Middle East, Europe?
So that's really where it kind of started during the SARS outbreak in the early 2000s. So I joke with my customers, if I'd have come to you back in February even and said, hey, I got a screening system, they would have said, what do I need that for?
Don't need it.
Exactly.
And so,
different world now, man.
It's a lot of people say it's a new world order. I don't know what the hell it is. We're going to get over this within a year, maybe two. I watched this morning some of the cable shows, and they're talking about the end of the year, the first of next year. But even after that, it would be beneficial for anyone who wants to know if someone has a fever and is sick to have something like this, even if and when COVID-19 is solved within a year or two or three. By some point, there still has applications for this.
Yes, it's an interesting point. A lot of people, a lot of discussions, but the American way has always been, hey, if I don't feel well, tough it up. Let's go to work, Buttercup. And
that's it.
That's not. I think there probably will be regulations, and this is a way that people come to work and feel safe. And heck, if I had a temperature, I'd like to know it myself.
Right.
So
maybe. All right. So once again, what's the website, Jason Bowman? What is the website?
It's TRIVACO. It's TRIVACO.com. And if you go there's a nice link to some YouTube videos and some other things that we do.
I watched it, about 3 minutes long. It's fairly interesting, and it's something that could actually keep a lot of people safe and could help in opening up business, opening up schools. It would be ridiculous to say to grade schools, high schools, and colleges when the kids are not at risk, but others around them are at risk, not to have a quick system to say, okay, go to the side, let's talk about this further. And then the rules and procedures could be in effect later on. But I know in communist Red China, these systems are being used along with cell phone technologies that is quite intrusive. This doesn't sound to me to be greatly intrusive. And so something we can actually look at, TRIVACO.com. And Jason Bowman, once again, thank you for coming on the Bill Cunningham Show. Thank you.
Thank you, Willie.
All right, let's continue with more. How about that? TRIVACO.com. And that's the way you can safely take temperatures and not be intrusive. In fact, no person-to-person contact. So let's continue with more. Bill Cunningham, News Radio 700 WLW.